blank that to 0?
Yeah. All I've done is say you can format it, and like we probably shouldn't go into this because it's probably going to lose people, and it's not really relevant. But you can format it to say like it's a year. The first number that you refers to is what's the format of it as a positive number. Second one that you put in is what's it, how's it formatted as a negative number, and the third way that you put it in is how's it formatted as a 0.
Comma in between?
Yeah, yeah.
So, semicolon?
So you can just put that as a 0. So anyway, and all that's doing is just saying like it's put a format in, but that is still actually a number. So you can go like, you can still multiply by that cell. Anyway, we're getting distracted. So for your purposes, just put year 1, year 2, year 3, and break all that. So.
Really good math, good luck.
Alright, so we've got 9 years, we've got our timeline in, and then it's probably just easy if you kind of freeze from there. So you can go across and down and you keep your timeline at the top of the page.
How do you do that?
So just put your, it's going to be different for Mac, but I would just like kind of make a smaller column right before your timeline, highlight the cell just under it to the left, and then go view and freeze panes, and it'll just freeze it at that spot. And so that way you can kind of, you know, if you're building a cash flow that's by months instead of years, so you're kind of like 240 columns out to the right and 1,000 rows down, you can kind of move down and right, and it keeps your timeline at the top. Has everyone got this far?
Yeah.
Alright. So we're going to do a DCF. What's the first thing that we're going to
Income?
want to look at? Yeah. We're going to want to look at income.
Would you be better off setting it up as a table? So that you,
This will be kind of set up as a table, but
as you continues on the, yeah, sorry.
you'll see it'll come together.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we're going to look at is income. What are we going to be concerned about first? Sorry, from an income perspective?
Rental?
Yeah, what kind of rent? Gross. We'll start with gross. What are we going to do then?
Any,
Outgoings?
recoverable outgoings?
So in this, there's like we've just got gross rent. We're not doing net and then recoverable to get fully grossed up. So we just know that we'll have non-recoverable outgoings. And then if we take outgoings off gross income, what have we got? Yeah. Operating income. So once we've got net operating income, what are the other things that we're going to want in this DCF? Adjustments. It's the adjustment without being an adjustment, in the sense that it's in a DCF. It's just the cash flow, so it's just going to be the capital costs, but it's not. You don't treat it as like adjustment to say here's your valuation, here's an adjustment. It just becomes a capital cost in the cash flow that's automatically picked up in the cash flow. So, sorry? Yeah, so the next thing, we've already got income. And now, we're going to want the capital costs. So in this example, what are the capital costs that we've got? What would the first one be? very first thing you do? Yeah, acquisition. Acquisition will probably start blank because we're trying to figure that out, but we'll put it in there for now. And then, what was the other one? The agent's leasing fee. And then what else would we have that's a capital item? Sorry? Yeah, so we put the acquisition in there. Disposal, yeah. So we'll call out the terminal value.
But that'll be at the very end.
Yeah.
of the cash flow.
So then we have net operating income, we have total capital. And if we put all that together, what will we have? Yeah, we'll have a net cash flow. So now, like you can see, if you go through that process, like, okay, well, we've set up a timeline, we know how long we've got to do things for, so we've got that ready, and then we've kind of thought through, like, we understand what the opportunity is, we've thought through what are all the elements we need, so we map them out. If we know we need gross income, we know we'll need to get coverable outgoings, we know there's going to be an acquisition price, there's going to be an agent's fee, we're going to sell it at a point in time. Now we're just kind of filling the gaps. Yeah? So, what's our gross income then in year 0?
A loss of 2,750. Oh,
What?
sorry.
No, so first part of the question is we're trying to determine what the value is.
Oh, so it's
And this is just gross income. Year 0?
0.
0. What's our income in year 1?
25.
285. Put an extra 0 on that. And that's for the first 3 years. And then what's our income?
220,000 for year 4,
220,000 for year 4.
and 380 for year 5 to 8.
And then 380 for year 5 to 8. What are we going to say is, let's just make an assumption that year 9's 380 as well. So, who? Oh God, sorry, that's time. It's really not easy way to do this. So who thinks those numbers look pretty ordinary? From a vision, from an aesthetic point of view, not a. They don't necessarily need dollar signs in a model. I think if you build like a really big model and every single cell has a dollar sign in it, well, it looks.
Should we change it to number on the cell side?
You can. I've already given you just a nice, pretty number. So at least those numbers are formatted nicely, and your zeros just a dash instead of an awkward zeros.
So would you pretty much do all the columns in that first?
Yeah.
So you use the number in the third row and not the number in the middle of the second row because input number is from different tabs?
Yeah, input number means like
It's the basis to drive another cell.
yeah, in this, I mean, you could, because we're manually building our cash flow, you could put it as an input number, but in reality, your inputs would be in your assumptions and your cash flow should just be calculations. So we're just going to use the number format.
Let me change.
Sorry? So we've got gross income. Next one's what? Couple outgoings, what are they? 0. Negative 85,000. Has anyone ever used like a 0 minus in Excel? No. Again, like, it's marginal, but when you're putting in negative numbers, it's easier if you put plus 0 minus and then 85. Not that it changes anything, but when you're reviewing formulas, it makes it really clear that it's a negative number. It's, you can just leave it as minus 85.
So,
Visually, it's easier for you to
When you're like reviewing and auditing models, it's a lot easier to pick up where there's a, because if you look at that, particularly if that was like in a formula, it's really hard to pick up that it's a negative number. So people will put like a plus 0 minus 85.
So,
Anyway, you don't need to do that.
so why did you do that? The plus 0.
Just, I'm gonna stop with the other tip. Negative 85,000. Second year is negative 80,000.
Negative 100.
Yeah.
How you format the number with bracket?
That's because I'm such a good guy. I already gave you the formatting for that. So if you format it as number, it'll already do that. So then negative 100, negative 150, and then what have we got, negative 60. And let's just carry 60 all the way up, including year 9. And then we're going to have net operating income. So let's kind of bold that and give it a little sum border.
You should top order for now.
Yep. And so for that, then everyone knows how to do a sum. Plus sum, highlight everything above it. Close the brackets. And then just copy and paste that across. So has everyone got that? Yeah? Honestly, we've got like all afternoon to get through this, so like I'm going fast, I would say now, because this is your assignment, not mine. So you've got all your cash flows in. The other thing that I'd probably encourage doing is just putting like a totals column in. So then you can go in this, remember we're doing it 8 years, so we're not picking up the 9th year in this one. The 9th year is really just a reference year.
Is there a reason why you go plus sum instead of equal sum?
It gives you the same thing, but plus is next to the numpad instead of, because if you go equals, you've got to move your hand. It's just,
Efficient, that's great.
yeah. So it's just, you know, like if you're in a cell and you go equals, like most of what you're doing in your cell, you're going to be using the numpad and the arrows. Oh, you don't. Are you on a full keyboard? Yeah. Okay. So if you're on a laptop keyboard, it's not going to matter because the plus and equals on the same spot. But if you're using like a full keyboard, your plus is there and all your numbers and your things there. So I just. Sorry. Yeah. So you can just go plus sum anything in that book.
In a what? Yeah.
How do you grab the formula down there once you do one money?
You can,
I think I'm.
which one do you mean?
Like, for example, like that gross income total.
So because if you just copy and paste that here, you'll rule the formatting.
No, if I grab that bottom right hand corner and drag that down, it'll just mix it formatting.
Just,
But I wanted to.
I'm not a massive fan of like dragging and auto-filling, because that's gonna like,
People want with no cells in it.
Yeah. so what you can do, so has everyone got this total of gross income?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you can just, everyone's like, Control C to copy.
Yeah, you got the, you've got,
Oh, have I? Sorry. See, I'm getting distracted. So, we've pasted that there. And then you're in, does anyone know Control Alt V?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So then if you, because then if you were just going to, if I was just going to paste that in there, I'll break the formatting, and so it'll just look weird. So if I Control C and then go Control Alt V, I'll get this little paste special box. And then if I just hit formula, can you see underneath all of these paste specials, there's one letter in each of them that's underlined?
Yeah, right.
So that means that's the shortcut for what it's going to do. So see, in formula, F's the underline. So if I went Control Alt V F, it'll highlight formula and then enter. But I didn't format that as a number before, so that's why it looks weird. But then I can take this one and copy that, and then go Control Alt V, and see how formats the T's underlined. So if I hit T, it'll just paste the formatting over. Control Alt V, it's a good shortcut to know. So has everyone got that? 1.94 million in their total net operating income. So putting these totals here, putting the totals there just allows us to kind of check. So we've now got net operating income of 1.94 million for this asset. Next thing we're going to do, remember the first part of the question is we want to understand what price we pay. So we're not putting anything in the acquisition yet. Just leave that there for when we come back to it. Is agent's leasing fee. When's the agent leasing fee due?
Year 4.
Year 4. So you could just go to year 4 and put plus what we got. What's the negative this one? How much is it? 35,000. For completeness, just zero out the rest of the cash flows.
Does that affect your IRR?
No, it's just, again, visually. It's easier to pick up a mistake because you'll see if it's intentionally zero, it's not just a,
Yeah.
you can put something in. So we've now got the leasing fee in. Let's just copy these total formulas down. Let's format that one the same. Am I going too fast for anyone? Is everyone at this point? Honestly, stay slow, if you need me to slow down. Otherwise, I'm going to have to mark 30 assignments if I haven't got it, and it's not fun for me. I'd rather it be, yeah.
Did
Which one?
The Excel.
Yeah. Okay, so we've just put the agent's leasing fee in. Now we need the terminal value. So when are we selling it? Year 9. And what are we selling it for?
7.25% cap rate.
7.25% cap rate. So this is one of those things where, you know, so we're going to sell it at the end of year 8. And so that's going to be, what income are we going to use? Year 9's income. This is probably like, if you're going to pay attention to anything, this is the part because a lot of people will capitalise the year 8 income. Easy marks off the table. So we're going to take the income from year 9 and we're going to divide it by what? 11%? 7.25%. And so that gives us 4.413793.
Do you divide it at year 8 or?
7.25%. Did anyone not get that? Everyone's got 4.413 mil. Yep. Is there any issues with that, what we've just done? Yeah. So that's all good if you know, nothing's ever going to change. But, you know, like I said, you'll go into a conversation, you'll present your analysis, and someone goes, what if the cap rate's 6.5%? And you'll be like, oh, hang on, let me go again, we've got to like highlight this, and go 6.5%, and then change it. And then every time someone wants to do it, you go back in and sell, change it. Not great. So, we want to make that one an assumption. So input, ignore this weird, that's an old format. Ignore that one. Use this in percentage. And we're going to make that 7.25%. And so in this cell here, we're just saying it's that year 9 income, and we're going to divide it by, and we're going to link it to that assumption input.
Can
So
you
now-
do that again?
So it's just that this formula at the end of year 8 when we're selling it, we're dividing the income from year 9, and instead of just manually writing in 7.25%, we're just saying that it's that year 9 income divided by, and we're linking it to this assumption for what the cap rate is.
Can you do the yellow cell again?
Oh, the yellow
Yeah,
cell?
yeah, this one.
I just went cell styles. I've given you all these cell styles. You can make it whatever you want. You can just put it as an orange box if you want. It's just cell styles that I like.
Is it common to put the assumption in the same tab as the cash flow, or is it better to have it in a separate tab?
Depends on what you're doing. There's a lot of like single sheet DCFs out there. Depends on how big they are. Let's say they need to be like there are some that you build that it's just like not feasible to have. Like you'll have separate input sheets, separate calculation sheets, and then a separate output sheet. Yeah, so it's just a cell style. I just made it that input percentage. And so now, if the question comes up, what if the cap rate was 6.5%? You can change that, and it will change the number. But let's keep it at 7.25%. So what do we do now? Well, I mean, for the purpose of this, let's just put zeros for everything else so it's consistent. And then we just want to get the sum of all those capital cash flows. And everyone knows like how to navigate Excel, just using like Control-C, Control-V, arrows, and holding Shift for different things. So if I just go Control-C there, move to the next one, hold Shift. start going across, we'll start highlighting all of those ones that I'm selecting, and then go Control V, and it'll copy that all the way across. So everyone's got to the point now where their total capital is equal to 4.378 million. Yeah? Now, let's just format that the same. Let's make this just a double line. So we've got total net operating income, we've got total capital, now we can get net cash flow. So just plus the sum of that and that. So everyone got that? Yep. And then we copy that across. How many years are we copying that across for? To year 8. Yeah, we're selling it at the end of year 8, so our net cash flow ends at year 8. That year 9 is purely a reference.
Could you change it from 8 year months?
You can
Make it great or something?
no, like if like where we're doing it, we'll build a time series across the top, and then you can build flags.
Okay.
So like a little flag will pop up. Normally we'll name certain time periods, so like acquisition date, like if there's stabilization date, exit date, it's named little flag. So as you go across, sorry,
How do you?
just it's like a true statement. So like if it equals a certain date, you link it to the date. Do 1, otherwise do 0, and you do conditional formatting. So if it equals a 1, it shows the flag.
Okay.
Can you spell it out?
Yeah. You good? So then, if we put that Control V, we want to copy that formula down so we can get total net cash flow 6.3 million, 6.318. Everyone got that?
Yeah.
Has anyone not got it? Got it? Alt Control, Alt, and then Prestige. Yeah, go to all at the same time.
I'm not sure, maybe I think, but I wouldn't think so. It's the same thing.